The National Eating Disorder Association estimates that almost 10 million American women suffer from an eating disorder. We see how many different social factors play a significant role on an individual's eating behaviors. First, we will go over the basic information and various causes of eating disorders. Then we will examine the sociological influences that impact eating habits. And finally, we'll view possible treatment options and a final solution to ending the negative impact that society has on the development of eating disorders. To begin, an eating disorder is defined as an illness that is characterized by irregular eating habits and severe distress or concern about body weight and shape. The three most commonly known disorders are anorexia nervosa, bulimia nervosa, and binge eating disorder. Anorexia usually stems from the individual's fear of gaining weight. They severely limit the quantity of food that they intake because they view themselves as overweight, when much have an unhealthy weight. Bulimia, on the other hand, is when one partakes in binge eating, followed by the forced vomiting, excessive exercise, or even use of laxatives. Much like bulimia, binge eating disorder includes one who loses control over eating. But unlike bulimia, they don't try to find means to compensate all that they have overeaten. Many different biological, psychological, and environmental factors can cause one to develop any of these eating disorders. But we must examine how the environmental factor of society ultimately influences human eating behaviors. We are shown the corruption of the beauty and food industry in our world through mass media, TV, the news, and our schooling. They dramatically play a role. If we take on a similar view to C. Wright Mills in his book, The Promise of the Sociological Imagination, we can see that one can only understand an individual if they understand the history of society that surrounds them. According to a 2015 article on eatingdisorderhope.com, standards of beauty change depending on the product being sold and the audience that is engaged. This essentially supports the idea that our society is creating these negative views of someone's body image. In a consumer world, we are taught to look the greatest and buy the newest items. And to much evidence, we are shown the unrealistic body images through mass media that can severely influence all who see it. The list of these different social factors go on, from dysfunctional family dynamic, or people who are in sports and they're taught to fit the ideal thin body. Much of our culture influences this. The biggest contributing factor of the development of the eating disorders come from family and parental impact. Parents hold a great amount of influence on how a child eats and feels about themselves. With the help of family, we can prevent such disorders from taking over an individual. The social lives of both parent and child are greatly affected in this, though. A person suffering from an eating disorder will feel shameful and hopeless, as if they lack all control. On the other end, peers and parents may not feel that they have any influence in guiding the sufferer, but that's not the case. Which finally brings me to my final point on various treatment options and a solution to this social issue. After viewing a couple ways that society impacts eating habits, we can now see how society can also be the solution as well. Many different support groups exist today to help sufferers talk about what they're going through, and more rise through media. By going to individual and group therapy sessions, one will be able to address their ongoing issues confidently and learn of healthier coping skills. Through communication, we will be able to fix broken relationships with family, peers, and friends. The overall solution comes from changing our societal backgrounds of thinking that slim body figure is ideal. If we continue to support one another and spread the message that self-love is meant for all body types, we can change the numbers of those with eating disorders. We must transform the ills of our culture into something that positively looks to changing beauty standards in our society.